Um, I'm not too
Armageddon's coming.
Yeah, I don't get religious on this podcast, but I mean, be not afraid. Well, shit, I'm afraid, Jim. I'm afraid of that thing as it starts just spitting out laser beams.
Spitting out laser beams.
Welcome, everyone, to the Paranormal Nut Podcast. I'm your host, Sean, a.k.a. Paranormal Nut, and joined with us, as always, is our good friend, Jim. How you doing today, Jim?
Oh, I'm doing good. Just ready to see some scary clips.
Yep, and we got plenty of scary clips today, and a very interesting topic. But before we get into that, we got some interesting news. I was poking around the old YouTube last night, laying in my bed as I do, searching various paranormal videos, and I came across a live stream. And, you know, to my knowledge, I don't know if anyone's done this before or whatnot, but it was a live stream of several, I think 7 to be precise, 7 paranormal investigators, all at 7 different locations, and they were all doing investigations, and they would do it various times. So let me go ahead and bring this guy up.
They're busy out there. It's the haunting season.
It really is. And the host of this, if you will, is called What the Paranormal. And I will put their information on the screen when it loads. So I thought this was very interesting, and I'm sure there's been plenty of live streams on YouTube and whatnot, and there's probably been even different locations, but the fact that they did 7 individual ghost hunts in one live stream I thought was very interesting. It's the Scaretober huge collab, 7 channels, 7 haunted locations, and I thought it was newsworthy and noteworthy. So here's our news topic for today, and my unofficial official shout out to What the Paranormal. And I'll go ahead and put all the investigators that were with that in the chat, or not in the chat, in the description below, so anyone who's interested in that can check all that stuff out. They are very nice. I was talking with them on the chat for like an hour before I eventually passed out, but they caught some good stuff. I'm not gonna spoil any of it. Go watch it for yourself. It's very interesting. But Jim, what do you think about that? 7 paranormal locations, 7 investigators, 1 live stream.
That is wild. The biggest collab in paranormal history I've ever seen. Anyway,
yeah, and
I've seen a lot.
From what I was seeing and the highlights I've seen after the fact, after I got left, like every one of those live streams was active too. It's that time of year when live streaming and or not live streaming, but investigating is most prominent because the thinning of the veils, or just the season, or more people are focused on that type of stuff, therefore they find it more. So yeah, that's What the Paranormal. Give them give them a check out, look at their stuff. They are very interesting, and it seems like a very nice community. So that's on my quick news topic for the day. Nothing too world changing. I'm sure we'll get news topics like that here in the near future with everything going on with the world in general. But I thought that was a bit more friendly news topic than is our government lying to us, which
they are.
They are, but yes, which is what our news segments seem to be turning into these days. But with that, I think we're going to just jump right in to the topic of this episode. And as a reminder for people, Jim doesn't know the topic. You know the topic because you clicked on the channel and it says it in the name. I don't tell Jim the topic. So we'll do a little guess. We'll see. Okay, Jim, I usually break these up into, if you break up paranormal, right, you do, you're going to go with like ghosts, aliens, cryptids, or I like to call it wild card, which is really probably falls into cryptids or stuff. But what do you think we're talking about today?
Ghosts.
Unfortunately, no, you're wrong. We did ghost last episode, so I wanted to change it up with the Winchester Manor. What we're talking about today is aliens or UFOs specifically, and the
Frick
specific
yeah.
event we're talking about is probably one of the most prominent, if not famous, events in recent memory. Right? Because when you think aliens and UFOs, the most prominent is Roswell. Well, similar to same part of the country, there's a little small city. I don't know if you've heard of it called Phoenix, and in the '90s, specifically March 13th of 1993, um, residents of Phoenix, Arizona, and the surrounding towns and villages saw several occurrences, two to be specific, of the first event being a series of orbs in a V shape flying over the city.
I think I heard about that.
Yeah, I would be remiss. I would be surprised if you haven't heard about this. And I mean, you can see here. Here are some of the newspaper clippings. I'll pull up on screen.
I'm somewhat of a ufologist myself. That's a lie.
It's UAP now, Jim. Come on, the government wants us to call them UAPs.
Yeah,
so.
you right. You right.
So this is, I believe this is the Arizona, or no, this is the Star magazine. This is not a real picture. That's a drawing. That's an artist recreation. There's surprisingly not too much footage of the first event. There's one, and we'll look into that in a little bit. But generally, what people were seeing looks something like this. Many people said they couldn't see the actual shape; they just saw orbs and stuff. And it turned a lot of residents of the Phoenix area into believers that night.
Because I've seen something that don't belong, brother.
Yeah, that's exactly how everyone from Phoenix, Arizona talks. But yes, so yeah, so this all happened. The flying V happened at like 8:30 to 10 p.m. Right, and then shortly after all the V disappeared. The next thing that occurred was uh, a series of orbs that hovered in the air for a decent amount of time before they all disappeared. So what I'm about to show you is the only footage I could find, and it's claimed to be the only actual footage of the first set of lights. This one's rough, though. So I have it here on the media deck, and the media deck is working. I checked this time. So this is going to be... Please work. Fingers crossed. It literally worked when I tried this earlier. There we go.
Okay. Halloween miracle.
So, Halloween miracle. All right. So, very blurry. Let's see what we can make out.
Some 90s cameras.
Yeah, not the most high definition. I think
I can see what they're talking about though. What they see in the sky.
Yeah, you can kind of see it in the middle there. I'll try to clean up as best I can in the editing, but I really don't want to touch it up too much because I wanted you to see the raw footage. But there definitely appears to be a shape being tracked. Well, not a shape, but several orbs, and they do seem to be flying in a V shape. So this footage is this is them cleaning up the footage, and you can see the distinct 5 various orbs, and all this static around is due to the 90s camera, I'm assuming.
I mean, it could be Canadian geese flying into some of that glowing liquid.
What is that? What?
You know the sticks that you break? The glow in the dark.
Oh, okay. Like, is this the cryptid I didn't know about? Glowing Canadian geese? No, well, yeah.
They're
So,
monsters themselves.
yep. And then we'll keep this going. I think this is, yeah. If we skip around here, it does play out. There's not much to it. There's no audio except for the static you're hearing, and it's very hard to make out. But there's definitely something there. Um, from that, more people now alert of the sky, watching, and everyone's now seeing stuff, pulling out their better cameras and stuff. This footage actually belongs to one Chuck. I'm going to pronounce the name wrong. Ray Rearden, Chuck Rearden, and this
Reardon?
is of the maybe this is of the second um, set of lights, and you can even see it's dated like old cameras used to do.
And it's a better quality. Well, it's probably because they're red.
Yeah, the red and it's far away, and you have a lot more light. This is obviously, you can tell this is stabilized. That's what the black edges on the screen is, when, because you have the shaky cam, so someone takes it, puts it out, editing stuff.
Yeah.
We're not, if you watch the videos, we're not that good of editors. But you'll start to see here in a little bit, as these are very stationary, not moving. And then they proceed to kind of flutter out of existence here. So this lasted, I think, a total of 30 minutes before each light was,
Distinguished.
you do see some faint moving and hovering, but they are stationary, definitely. Ooh, let me go back. I want you to see them from the start to the beginning. Yeah, so then they start disappearing. So what does that look like to you, Jim?
It looks like they're in formation, like just watching.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of stories and opinions about the Phoenix Lights. I think my general opinion, as somebody who's only experienced it through second and third party sources here, I think that something did happen from 8:30 to 10 p.m. and there was a UFO that everyone saw in the sky. That wasn't a B-2 bomber or anything like that. And then afterwards, because there's, it's Phoenix, there is a military base there. Afterwards, the military decides to throw flares up in the sky for two things. Two things. One thing, to light up the sky to see if there's anything else coming. And the second thing is a little disinformation to say, oh, yeah, we were launching flares.
I was going to say
And
that too.
those second ones definitely, I'm not, a flare expert, but those look more like flares to me than the first video.
And they stay up there and they say, the only thing about with the flares start, you'd see a trail as it falls down too, though. So, like.
It does. I've seen movie flares. I've never launched a flare personally in real life. So I've heard people that claim to be more familiar with flares say they're not flares. I've seen people say they are flares. So this is, I don't know. It's all over the place. But the documentation on, not the documentation, but the fact that the news was reporting it the next day, the governor, at the time current governor, and I should have got this video. I wish I did, but you can look it up. The next day, holds a press conference, mockingly brings in a guy dressed as an alien, and we caught him, and it was a whole aliens are ridiculous kind of joke.
Disinformative tactic.
Yes. Then later, these days, he kind of, he doesn't really talk about it as much, but he's been on record stating that he had no idea what those were, and they were definitely, to him, UFOs because they were unidentified. He doesn't say, obviously, they're aliens, but he was definitely saying that they were B-2 bombers and stuff like that and whatnot. So the governor, if you want to look this up, all people, Fifth Symington, Fifth Symington, the former governor. So, you know, around the 10-year anniversary or around like 2007 is when he started coming out and saying like, this is a real thing and I have no idea. And at the time I was just kind of going with the flow. But so yeah, it's an interesting one. Um, Now him being a governor, making him a politician, I automatically distrust him. And do I think he may have done that after he's kind of been out of the limelight to try to get
I
more
was gonna say
publicity?
he was trying to be when he was in. He was probably trying to cover the government's butt. But now since he's out, he's like, well, this is honestly, I don't know what it was.
Yeah, that's you gotta in this world. You have to always look out for the clout chasers who are just trying to make a name for themselves.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
yep.
that was
So
his money goat right there. He'd come out,
yeah,
say something
yep.
later in life.
So I chose to pick the Phoenix Lights because earlier in October, an interesting thing was filmed in the skies around Phoenix once again, and I want to show you this one. And Jim, I want you to tell me what you think these are. This one does have sound. Let's get it here loaded up.
Sí, está nomás.
So hold up.
Probably the satellite.
I mean, it's buffering a bit. But I'm going to start it over.
Sí, está nomás. They're probably the satellites. They've been going from over there, Pelon. They're going away from over there. I think they're the satellites from the SpaceX. Yes. Helitas in SpaceX. That close?
That doesn't look like Starlink.
I've seen them at work.
No, it doesn't look like Starlink or SpaceX or anything like that, like they're saying.
They were blue.
Yeah, that's not what
blue right
Starlink
up the whole-
or
like,
Space.
blue.
Well, Starlink. That's what everybody's been saying. The satellites,
Yeah.
because usually the Starlink's like just a straight like series of just a straight line of like white lights.
They're all striped lines.
Well, see, he calls them blue,
I guess I see them.
and you can kind of see it. It's kind of hard, but
Oh, I can
so
I
that's
can see
interesting.
that.
Yeah, you can kind of see
Yeah.
the hue, right?
They look like a line.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. They're scattered.
Where was this in Arizona?
Yeah, this was in. I don't know if it was Phoenix specifically, but definitely in Arizona, in the area of Phoenix. I didn't get too much information from the video source. They do seem stationary. He's saying that they kind of traveled, but we're not seeing anything yet.
I love how they're watching the aliens and they just start playing Mexican music in the background.
Yeah, yeah. I might have to mute that. But yeah, I think our clip may have got desynced, but it's fine. There's a extreme close up, kind of. Here, we'll back that up.
Back that ass up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, that's interesting, right?
oh yeah.
So let me.
Faulty shield generator right there.
Well, so as some of you keen-eye observers might be catching on to, there is something in the sky that is blue that looks vaguely like that, and on very dark nights you can see. Let me just pull this up, and I don't know if this is a rendering or an actual image. I believe it's an actual image, and I'll get into that why. But these are known as the Pleiades, Jim. Do you know what the Pleiades are?
It looks like stars.
Yeah. And if you do a comparison side by side, The bright ones definitely stand out. The angle here, and then the two up here, and then the super bright one up top could be both these stars. I do believe this is a legit um, picture because the cross formation, right, and that's usually due to Hubble Space Telescope.
Just
The
shining
frame.
off. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because the frame and the way it takes in light. I'm not a spectrometer science or something, but like JWT will have like the 6 hexagon because of the hexagon panels or something. But yeah, so you can do your research on the Pleiades. They are one of the brighter stars at night when it is dark. And if they were slowly moving across the sky as if the night sky was moving, that's that's my thought process. I don't think these guys saw any aliens. I don't think they saw satellites. I think they saw the Pleiades, which, you know,
Gorgeous.
gorgeous, beautiful, blue. They're blue because I guess now this is my brief research into the Pleiades is that they were newer stars, and so they're younger, they're bigger, they're burning brighter at blue or something. Um,
Superman would be a
but
legend over there.
yep, yeah. So that's what I think those guys were experiencing. I don't think that was uh, a reoccurrence of the Phoenix Lights.
Yeah.
So, uh, in conclusion of the Phoenix Lights, what do you think, Jim? The whole shebang.
I think maybe the original ones they were probably real, but those Pleiades, I think it was just as you say, it was the Pleiades. The first pictures, it's hard to explain. I mean, back then they didn't have the technology to like kind of fake that stuff like in a camera.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe they did.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
you had your practical effects you could use in Hollywood, and like, there's ways to do it. Does the average person have access to those movies?
but it was like there were probably thousands of photos like that coming out of just that. You know what I mean? Of the same. Everybody says it's hard to fake something that's so big that so many people saw.
Yeah, and I mean, we generally don't do eyewitness testimony. We'd rather have those like people explaining to us what they saw. I don't like to take things out of context, so I typically don't do that. But if any of our viewers were, kicking around Phoenix, Arizona in 1993, March 13th, let us know if you've seen anything. We will highlight your comment. We can bring in discussion, and we can even do a revisited section and like talk about things on older episodes. I think that would be very interesting. So let us know in the comments below, or reach out to us on the Paranormal Nut email, which is down below, paranormalnut666@gmail.com, which you can also use to submit grab bags. The paranormal grab bag section is the section we like to grab random stuff from the internet and react to it, give our opinions, be obviously the sole arbiter of what's real and fake because we have those powers. So at least I do. I don't know if Jim does or not. He lost his producing credit. So
I have other powers.
oh God. All right. So yeah, I guess with that great transition, we will move into the paranormal grab bag, and we got some interesting ones. Start with grab bag number 1. So this is loud and terrifying. So let me lower the volume. All right, and we'll go live. All right. So I don't know how old this video is. I came across it, and we'll watch it and break it down.
How you doing? Just cruisers, man.
Why is it? It's like this is definite human behavior.
Goddamn. What's up, dude?
Now, there's a lot that could be said about that clip, but what are you thinking, Jim?
I mean, I like me some Wendigo Issy.
I mean, I I mean, I don't think it's a Wendigo. What people are claiming this thing could be is another beast from Native American folklore. Uh, is a skinwalker, which skinwalkers kind of are all encompassing. Some people say they're witches, some people say they're beasts. But the general shape shifting term that we use in, at least the American lexicon now is skinwalker, because I think the infamous Skinwalker Ranch. This has nothing to do with that. But if you break this down, um, let's get to the point where he kind of starts crawling. And I don't know if it's camera distortion, but that face does not look human anymore. Those arms seem elongated, and it almost looks like he's getting bigger, or at
Yeah,
least the camera angle's getting weird.
I was gonna say that his arms look elongated, and like it just seems like he
like
starts turning less human.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's turning less and
and
less human as he comes
I don't
out.
see that shirt on him anymore. And
look at that! Look at that arm!
Yeah,
Like, look how long that thing is.
there is some camera blurring going on, but I think with the camera blur, even there's still some unexplained stuff going on. And this guy does the smartest thing anyone can do is GTFO and just bounces.
And he's like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out."
Exactly. So, yeah. Oh, that's wow. At first, right, you think, oh, guy on meth, right? That happens.
Oh yeah.
Then he's like grunting and groaning. It's like, is this like a zombie or something? And then he starts shifting and changing. And I'm like, what's going on?
The skinwalker's coming out. This is what a human would do. He just starts walking out on foot.
This is normal human behavior.
Don't mind me. I'm just gonna come and eat you now, buddy.
Yeah, terrifying.
It's fucked.
Yeah,
it's all fucked.
Yeah, that's what that clip is. As arbiters of truth and reality, that clip is fucked. That being said, we probably used our allotment of swear words for the episode. Hopefully, we don't use them again. Going into the grab bag 2. All right, this one's pretty quick. It does repeat, though, I believe. And we'll CC camera, something along those lines. Let's take a look. And I think, a couple orbs flying by. I hate orbs, but they are there. We will point them out when we see them. I will remind people as we see them. I don't believe orbs are really a thing.
It's just little dust particles that get lit up.
Okay, so it doesn't repeat. So obviously, it wants us to see all the orbs, but we'll go back to the very beginning, which is the interesting part.
What is that? Looks like a salt shaker.
So, I mean, it kind of just... It's hard to get
do you see the distortion behind it, though, where it's moving? Like...
No, I'm not seeing any distortion.
It almost looks like a trail behind reflection. It.
Yeah. My thought when I see something like this is like a little sprite or fairy of some kind. It could be a ghost or a spirit, but it's just going about its day or it just could be a bug. These weird distorted shapes that are reflective on IR cameras, they're always the hardest thing to prove or disprove. But that shape is a weird shape. I will say that. I've also seen theories on this in the past, where stuff like this is like animals from, or even bugs from like interdimensional space flipping in and out of our reality real quick.
Yeah.
I'm not qualified to talk on that, so I won't. But there is that theory out there.
Oh, I will, though.
Oh, yeah, Jim. Tell us about interdimensional space and
Let me tell you about the fourth and fifth dimension. You know, I watched a documentary the one time.
The fourth and fifth, they're all right. But when you get to the sixth, that's when stuff gets real.
Gets too real, man.
All right. And then winding up our grab bag, we're going to go into this one, which is one that Jim sent me over. And I thought was apropos to finish out this episode of the Phoenix Lights. This one. Just what is even going on?
It's like a Stargate opened and like ships just started pouring out.
Yeah, it's just like plasma light beams. Like, I mean, you could see if I was a 16th century, peasant, maybe a little bit later than 16th century. It's a bit late Middle Ages. But regardless, if I was from a different time period, I'm not thinking alien. I'm thinking angel of some sort smiting the wrathful or something. I'm not too
Armageddon's coming.
Yeah, I don't get religious on this podcast, but I mean, be not afraid. Well, shit, I'm afraid, Jim. I'm afraid of that thing as it starts just spitting out laser beams.
Spitting out laser beams.
Yeah. So it's spinning.
Is it like the sky giving birth?
I talk about interdimensional stuff. The one point to be a skeptic on this one, which I feel is my job. It
looks too good.
It looks too good. But also, even if it does look good, is this just coming from the power line? Is this some form of weird ball lightning? Ionized electricity traveling in like a ball? Because I know that stuff's possible. I don't really understand it. And I don't think the people who say it's possible will actually understand it. But I wouldn't be surprised if lightning or energy or electricity could do stuff like that on its own. But then it kind of looks like, as it moves, it looks like it's not in this space. And then like it spits out these other ones that look like they're traveling. And so they kind of like fly off.
That last one looks like Goku coming to Earth, like in his little pod.
Mm-hmm. And then it spits off more before it,
What we really don't know is that's the Terminators coming to the past.
Yeah, we have to find John Connor. But yeah, this is a very interesting one, and I thought it was very appropriate to kind of kick off or end off our episode on the Phoenix Lights, because that's some crazy lights in the sky right there. Probably the craziest lights in the sky I've ever seen on a video. So I think with that one, tell us what you think of all these grab bags down below. They're crazy. We love them. Submit your grab bags to paranormalnut666@gmail.com. We'd love to get some actual user-submitted ones. But with that, before we end the episode, Jim, is there anything you'd like to say to our increasing amount of fans?
I appreciate all of you. I love you. And thank you for stopping by and watching your two favorite Paranormal Nuts.
Well said. I don't think I can top that. Have a good one, everybody. Paranormal Nut out.